Hello, it's Cryptolyze. I hope you are well. This Tuesday, 2 January 2024, we meet today to talk about Chainlink's crypto. As usual, we will divide this video into two parts. A fundamental part, we will come back to what Chainlink is, the role of Link in Chainlink. And then, we will go to the technical part on the charts for short, medium, long-term prices, on buying prices, selling prices. And we'll start right away. If we had to explain simply what Chainlink was, we would say that it is an oracle. So saying that is still very simplistic. We will see it together. But we must understand the purpose of an oracle in a blockchain and the role that Chainlink has in relation to that. Already, an oracle is what allows the blockchain to interface with the outside world. It must be understood that the blockchain only communicates with itself, or even other blockchains potentially through bridges or interoperability protocols, but does not communicate with the outside world. That is, it is impossible for him to have information, for example, about the weather or these elements. And so it's very complicated when you want to use blockchain technology to validate or build something with something outside of this same blockchain. Hence the interest in having an oracle. The oracle will make it possible to retrieve the information, transmit it to the blockchain can process this information, and move forward with its smart contract. So it's really very important. But Chainlink is much more than that. It must be understood that it is a decentralized infrastructure for blockchains and for any application that wishes to interface with blockchains. It's very important to understand this because they go much further. They provide an API which is very easy to use to be able to retrieve information from outside, but also inside a blockchain. Really, the principle of the oracle is, as we said, to be able to recover external information, process it by the oracle, and integrate it into the smart contracts which are within the blockchain, but it is also process external data to interpret them. With a set of data sets that are within blockchains, and that's really important. If we take a concrete example like this, we can have data that is in the current world, in which we will go through Chainlink, go through any blockchain, such as, for example, Tezos in this example, to return to the real world. So that means that we are going to pass the information and we are going to the computer. So that means that we are going to instantiate them to be able to use them and then redispatch them. They invented CCIP. So what is the CCIP? It is the interlock chain and inter-institution interfacing protocol, particularly used by financial institutions. To take an example, for example, with SWIFT, in which we have the CCIP, which is used to interface with the different blockchains. And SWIFT is therefore the whole banking world, and it is precisely Chainlink which takes care of that, and which created the CCIP Chainlink Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol. So it's really very important. And this is what allows us to have this interfacing, which is secure and above all, which is at very low cost. This is really the strength of Chainlink. Besides, they do many other things. They do function management, quite simply because a smart contract may not launch on its own and must have a trigger, so we can use Chainlink to trigger a smart contract on a decentralized application. We can retrieve information, we can manage interconnection and interoperability as we talked about a few moments ago. We can also manage the automation of tasks. For example, we can also manage proof of reserves. They have lots of products that revolve around their technology, and it's really very strong, and it's one of Chainlink's strengths. And it's not for nothing that they explain how they went from the notion of TCP/IP, which is what allows the internet to work. It's the Internet Interconnection Protocols. From the moment you load an internet page, you use the TCP/IP protocol without necessarily knowing it. And they precisely define CCIP as being the TCP/IP of the future, and precisely the new Internet of Contracts, which is the notion of interpassage with blockchains and the world. Real, and I think they are not too far from reality through this article. Besides, I invite you to look. It's in the blog part of their site. Really very interesting. Their vision. Even if it's still very promotional, we're not going to hide it, but we take it with a grain of salt. Little grain of salt, and it's still very interesting. Aside in big news, we have the 28th of November, the announcement of V2 stacking. I had already announced to you that there were going to be new pools which were going to open. So here we have a second pool which opened, which filled up very quickly. We're not going to hide it. And I think we're going to have 2 or 3 more, which will arrive in 2024. If you ever have Chainlinks, you can, at that moment, when a new pool opens, stack them directly on the protocol to help secure that protocol. and in which you will recover an APR which is between 4 and 4.5 approximately on your links, something which you cannot have or very difficult to have in the real world. On the other hand, it will be stacking, which will be on Ethereum. Be careful of transaction fees, especially if you are in the middle of a bull run and you want to destock to sell. It may cost you. Very expensive. In terms of tokenomics, we are on a tokenomics which is rather diluted, 56, on the link which still remains in the process of dilution and emission, which is rather normal for this protocol, and in which we are in a diluted market cap of 15 billion, almost 16 billion, thanks to the breakout that Link made. But it is at the same time normal, because it is an essential player in the crypto ecosystem, and which allows the interpassage between blockchains and the rest of the world, and even interlockchain. I think they're slowly and gently moving towards that, because they have the stack to be able to do it. The stack being the technical means of development to be able to build it, and it's something that we will certainly see in 2024, 2025, and Chainlink has a good chance of performing very well if we have a big bull run, because precisely Chainlink will be used in all cases, regardless of which blockchain will outperform the rest. We attack the technical part in which we have finally left this monumental range. So we had a first phase of acceleration with a phase of rupture accumulation. We see clearly that we are really often in this image of accumulation. Once, twice, it's really. There are certain assets, in fact, they always have cycles and they have particularities. And Chainlink is really the particularity of having big range periods which are very, very long, very slow. And it is what we experienced in 2022, 2023. And what we experienced in 2019, 2020, before having the upward acceleration in the first phase of decentralized finance with 2020, and then 2021 until May. And then we didn't make any new AT8th. We maintained the level. And then we got stuck with the implementation of this ranging. It's not for nothing that at one point I called it the stable coin link. And besides, I wasn't the only one to call it that at that time, because we were moving very, very little when oscillating. Between 8 and overall 4. It's relatively very, very little. It's certain that we were generally low in the range, high in the range. We were systematically doing 1, 2. But that doesn't prevent us from finally coming out with the big one breakout, which was carried out at the end of October, in which we had first candle, consolidation, second, third, fourth candle, and then we are in a phase of lateralization with the price maintaining above the 14, okay? So for me, there we really have a base which is still acceptable, I think, for Link at the level of the spot zone. I think that we can raise it a little bit in the area of the 15. We could even say up to the 15 remains acceptable in terms of price, in which we can continue to be exposed to the spot. Once again, it's the same. If you think that this asset is interesting, the price is always interesting. You see, in a bull run evolution, we can have targets. Very high, we will see it at the end of this video, but it is rather classic. So once again, for me, these are my target spots in which I smooth my DCA if I ever re-enter them. Otherwise, I cut because I'm already overexposed. It's up to you to determine what your interesting exposure level is. And once again, if you don't know how to do this part of buying and selling, don't forget that there is an investment guide which is free, which is available in comment or description. So don't hesitate to take advantage of these 30 pages to help you buy and sell on different markets, and to understand when it's interesting. On targets, already for me, a big target to hold, we will actually have to hold this level. Okay, it's really very important. If we break, we're going to try to throw. If we break this level, that means we're going back into the range, okay? For me, it's really the level of 12.5 that we really have to maintain. We'll have to break the next level, which will be 18.19, which is in fact the level that was left during the beginning of 2022 before Terra Luna, okay? So that's really going to be the important level to break, and then go get the 40 here, in which we have a lot of liquidity, and then go to a new AT8th, and go into a bullish acceleration to get a wick-off wave. Wave 3 for go. Look for the 1618 with a link around $90 at the end of a bull run, 2024, 2025, in which we would have precisely a link which would have validated its position as leader as a truly actor of real-world blockchain interoperability in a world in which why not we would go for hyper-tokenization, and therefore this notion of RWA narrative in which Chainlink would in fact have a really strong place. And that's why we could have a hyper-valuation of Chainlink. I hope you liked this video. If so, don't forget to leave me a like and a comment to share the video. It supports the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for the daily. If you want to train and really enjoy bull running, it's simple. There is perfect, complete, free training available. It's through an educational journey that teaches you everything about blockchain, crypto, investment, technical analysis, and trading. All this for free in comments and descriptions. You have exercises, multiple choice questions, modules, videos, guides, everything to support you in your progress.